Welcome to the Board Game Rundown, presented by Game Twaddle. Today we are going to learn how to play the T-Dragon Society from Renegade Games. It plays from 2 to 4 players in about 30 to 60 minutes. In this game we are practicing the ancient art of T-Dragon caretaking by building a bond and creating memories with our T-Dragon over the course of 4 seasons. The T-Dragon Society is a deck building game where you play through 4 seasons, and at the end of winter the player with the most points wins. Before we get into gameplay, let's discuss the anatomy of the cards. First, we have starter decks and their dragons. And each dragon has a unique ability which corresponds with their personality and their starter deck. And in their starter deck, you are going to have 9 growth cards, which are signified by the little flower icon in the bottom of the portrait. And you're going to have 3 mischief cards, which have the fire icon here. Growth cards up here have a value which will allow you to purchase cards from the market area. And so to get started, we just shuffle up our deck, put your dragon off to the side so that you can easily see what his special ability is, and then everybody else gets their cards, and that's how you get going. Now let's set up our market deck. First, let's separate the season cards from the market cards. And to do this, you identify these season cards by the colors on the top, and they also have a unique leaf icon in the portrait. We're going to put these aside for now while we work on our market deck. Everything else in here is the market deck, and you shuffle it up, and we deal out 4 cards. The market deck, you're going to find a few different things that you don't find in your starter deck. You are going to find item cards signified by this teapot icon. And you will also find, let's see, there we go, some ability cards. These cards with the star icon will grant you abilities as you go through the game. There are also cards with a shield, which will offer you a protection. In addition, there are also cards with a little black kitty, which has a variable scoring at the end of the game depending on the condition listed on the card. And there are also vulnerable cards. These cards are not protected by the shield cards and are primarily used for victory points at the end of the game. So we will clean these up. And now we will set up our memory tableau. So the memory tableau is where we really score our points. We separate them by seasons, as indicated on the colors on the top of the cards. And depending on player count, we'll remove a few cards from each of these decks, depending on the amount of players, and we'll put these in the box, not to be seen again, at least not for the rest of the game. Once we've done that, we will take our spring cards, which have the pink and the light green, and we will lay them out at the top. That is our memory tableau. The other seasons will be used later on in the game. On your turn, you can take one of 3 possible actions. The first one being draw a card. Unlike most deck builders where you draw a card to your hand, in T-Dragon Society, when you draw a card, you place it in what they call your hold. And that's just right next to your deck, right in front of you. This will potentially trigger the ability of your dragon. Each dragon has their own unique ability. So this one, whenever you draw a grooming card, while you have no grooming in your hold, draw again. So before we drew this, we had no grooming in our hold, so we would get to draw again. And if there were other effects to be triggered, then we would keep going. Each effect can only be triggered once each turn. Option number 2, buy a card from the market. Once you have some cards in your hold, you can tally up the growth value on your cards. So for example, we have 2 right now. If you have enough to pay the cost, signified here in the upper corner with the steaming mug of tea, then you can buy that card. So let's say, for example, we did have all of these cards out. That would be 3. We could spend these 3. They go to our discard pile. And then we gain the card to our hold that we just bought. And then a new card immediately takes its place. Option number 3, we can buy a card from the memory tableau. And this is really how we get victory points in the game. These cards tend to be a little more expensive, and they don't always give you the fun abilities that some of the market cards do. The main difference, though, when buying a card from the memory tableau instead of the market is that when you buy one, it goes to your discard pile. You shuffle your discard pile and your deck to then form a new deck. Once the memory tableau is down to 1 card in that season, you discard the remaining card and you draw new cards from the next season. Play will continue until there is only one memory card left in the winter season. That's the final season. And when that's done, you discard that one last card, and everybody then counts up their victory points here on the bottom of the card, and the person with the most points wins. Also, make sure you are discarding only your spent growth cards and not items you may have in your hold. If your deck ever runs out of cards, you simply shuffle your discard pile and form a new draw deck. Now, there are two market cards, Brick and Fickle Dragons. If either of these enter the market, you resolve their effects and then you remove them from the game. And that's how you play the T-Dragon Society, an adorable and refreshing game from Renegade Games. Thank you for watching the Board Game Rundown on the Game Twaddle Network. If you like what you saw,
if you want to see us make more content like this,
please hit that thumbs up.
Go ahead and subscribe.
Give us a share on social media.
Remember to ring that little bell, it really helps.
Be sure to check out our unboxing videos.
Don't forget we have reviews.
And also the news show.
Thanks for watching the Board Game Rundown.